But that's where you come back to your faith and your passion for Christ. Christ loves me, and I don't care what people think, because ultimately I answer to Him, not to you, not to you, not to you. And so that's what happened with our company. We went all out. And when we went down this path, I overcame some of these fears. Can I afford it? We spent a boatload of money giving to employees, and I'm going to share that with you in a second. That's expensive. Giving employees something? No, whoa. I pay him a paycheck. He works for me. I don't give him anything. Is that what Christ asks us to do? When a guy's in a ditch, he needs help, man. And it's beyond a paycheck, a lot beyond a paycheck. What are you doing to love your neighbor? That's scary. Go and pay all that out. Send people on retreats, send them on marriage retreats, send them to Nicaragua on a mission trip. No. That doesn't make me more money. I'm not going to do that. But that's what Christ is calling us to do, is to marinate people in His love. So that's the scary part. So, this is what I've always been.
All of us to become better people, Christians and non-Christians alike, because Christian core values and the Christians practicing those core values. Of course, the non-Christians see that and they tag along. They see that it's a positive thing, it's a good thing, it's good values, or it's helped the workplace.
So just telling you a little bit about what we do practically. The first thing that we did was form a caring team, and just roll the truck, please. This is our caring team. These people are nominated by voting in our company, and they are given 1% of our total revenue, not profits, revenue. Comes right off the top. And these guys are given the money to go and do several things. And I don't have time to explain all this to you, but let's go to the next one. This is how we ask them to spend the money. In these different quadrants. And this is something you can think about for your own companies or your own businesses or whatever you're involved in, even the offices that you work in. Ask yourself, on this vertical axis, the people that are important that are your neighbors, who are they? They are our employees, the employees' families, and our community. So that's the three kind of different areas. And how do we need to help them? We help them physically, and I'll share with you many physical ways we help them with money and support. Emotionally, there are many emotional programs that we have to support employees. And the third one is, this is the offensive one, spiritually. What are we doing to enlarge and make them the best versions of themselves and to help them find a connection with God? So how do we do that? So what I asked at the back there, or on the table, I think, there's some papers there. And those papers on the table, if you turn it around, just grab that one for a second. This is something that each of you can take home with you. Write on that piece of paper, like in an assessment. Write down the programs that your business, either the one that you own or the one that you work in, write down the programs that you have in each of those 9 quadrants. And you'll start to see an imbalance of those things not being all spread out. They're kind of all maybe in one spot. So this is an assessment. On the back of the piece of paper, this one with the blue one, on the back side are ideas. These are ideas of different programs for every one of these 9 quadrants that you can do. Associated on the right-hand side is the cost of those programs. Some are expensive, some are really cheap, and some zero cost. I'll give you an example. Starting a prayer group on the first and second shift. How much does that cost you? 0. Is it something you could do? Of course. Are there scary moments in there? Can I get sued? Yes, you're right. You've got to do it right. You have to do it in a way that is in keeping with the law, but at the same time does not dilute your faith. There are many, many different things I can share with you with each one of these programs to do them and to do them right. They're tricky, some of them, because they have a whole bunch of consequences with them. When you give people stuff for free, you've got to be careful because you can set yourself up for failure. So you've got to know how to do it. And I'll share with you at the end of the talk some of the tools we have to help you to do that effectively. So this is a document you can take home and kind of gives you a starting point. A document very similar to this William gave to me. When I came to him, I was this young Christian on fire. I said to him, William, I'm excited. He's like, whoa, slow down. take one or two of these things on this piece of paper and do them well. And then come see me back in 6 months' time. And that's what I did. So he was kind of like my coach. And so in many ways, I'll talk about a little later on, we have a coaching service, if any of you are interested, that will help coach you just like William coached me through these processes if you're interested in implementing any of what you see there. So just to share with you briefly, these are some of the things that we do. For example, home repair. We send teams out on the weekend to go and repair homes of our employees. Not out in the community, we do that too, but our own employees who've got holes in their roofs, who've got the back door falling off, a single mom can't fix her house. She writes a little note, says, I need help. We send a whole team out of employees who volunteer on the weekend and go and repair a house, no charge. We started another program called the Car Repair Fund. Employee's car broke down. He's stuck on the side of the road. We give him a little polydeck note, says Car Repair Fund. He calls that 800 number, a wrecker services picks his car up, repairs it, brings it back to his house. How much charge? 0. For free. You know what? Not only for you, we're going to do that for your spouse too. What? Really? So people start asking questions. Why are you doing this? And I don't have enough time to share all these different programs. We have about 30 different programs. I'll give you another one, for example. Addiction recovery. In the past, the old Peter, if you were on drugs at my company, I would kick your butt out in 2 seconds. Because you're a liability. You're a danger to the company. You can cause harm, and you're not functioning. So get out. Is that the way Christ would have us deal with it? If he's a child of God, lost? So what we have now is an addiction recovery program. We've partnered with a group that William introduced me to called Faith Homes. We send him there for 12 weeks. All expenses paid. While he's gone for 12 weeks, we pay him while he's gone. Because many employees said, hey, I'm not going to that thing. Because if I go to that thing, Mama back home ain't got no money, so what am I going to do? I can't go. So we said, okay, we'll pay you while you're gone. So we pay them the entire time they're gone. We send a team out there every week to cut the grass, to go help with chores while Dad's gone, or Mom. And then at the end of it, we'll pay you a bonus if you complete the course. And we'll keep your job for you. Now, is that the way I used to treat people? I used to kick their butt. But once God got a hold of me and said, this is my child you're dealing with, it changed everything for me. Mother Teresa, the other day, she did an interview years ago that I saw. And she had this child in her hand, and it had leprosy. And she was kissing the head of this child. And the reporter said, are you crazy, Mother? Do you realize what diseases you can get? She says, it's easy for me. I see Christ in this child. So the question is, do you see Christ in your spouse? Do you see Christ in your neighbor? Do you see Christ in your fellow worker? In the janitor in your company? Ask yourself that. I never did. And I treated people really lousy. So that's how all these programs came about. I can go through hours and hours of telling you. I just want to tell a quick story. We go to the soup kitchen. We encourage all our employees to go to the soup kitchen. At the soup kitchen, this little child comes up and grabs my leg, and I'm like, what's up? He says, sir, I just want to say thank you. So for what? He said, I just want to thank you for saving my dad. He says he's off drugs, he stopped beating my mom, and he's going to church with us on Sundays. Isn't that what being a CEO is about? It changes everything. We go to soup kitchens now. We go to Nicaragua. I want to show you a little short video. Do I have time? Or? Okay. No time. Sorry. I don't have time. Oh, just go back. Okay, go forward, go whatever.
it's a special day.
El Ministerio Niños Escogidos
Chosen Children Ministries
ha tenido el sueño
has been having the dream
de enviar los niños que no estaban yendo a clases, enviarlos a
to
clases.
send these kids that has not been able to go to school to go to school.
Hay hermanos en Estados Unidos,
There's brothers and sisters in the United
hay
States.
amigos en los Estados Unidos
Their friends in the United
que
States
nos han ayudado
that has helped us
para hacer este sueño realidad.
to live this dream real.
Here we are, living in the moment. And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race. So we won't stop dreaming, no we won't stop dreaming.
Just to tell you briefly what that is, that's a barrio in Nicaragua that our company has adopted. We moved over there, 250 families in Nicaragua, we've adopted them. Every second month we send 10 employees, we saw 10 to 15 employees that go out there on their own time, bringing funds. They bought these little yellow bags to send kids to school. We've drilled wells, we've built schools, we've done whole feeding stations, you name it, we've done it. And that's to change the culture of our company from a self-centered environment to one where we care for people. So we've got all these trips and things planned. Some of the other things that we've done, I'll just get this one, is we have a chaplain on site that's there. We spoke about spiritual encouragement. Every employee at some point goes through a crisis in their lives. And it's at that moment of crisis that God can truly touch people, when they are broken, when they're on their knees. 80% of people that come to faith after the age of 18 come to Christ at a moment of crisis. But the question is, who is there at their side at that moment of crisis? So we decided to put a chaplain on site to help them through their crisis. And this is what he does. I don't have time to share with you all the things that he does, but he's basically there to create a relationship with employees so that when they do go through a crisis, that he's able to share the gospel with them. As a result of this caring culture and our chaplain, we've been able here, 76 of our employees, the 300 employees, now have a personal relationship with Christ as a result of being part of our company. And that's really what it's all about. All these programs, all this sharing of love is there to marinate them in God's love. So that when the time is right, that they have the eyes for God. Because unless you've seen God in your neighbor, you can't believe in a God that's up in heaven if you've never seen him in life. So what we're trying to do is be a little glimpse of God to people. So that when they get to that crisis, they're able to. So one of the things is, this is what we did. We dedicated a chapel in our plan. We put a chapel right in the middle of the business to say, if we truly stand up for what we believe in, this is the place to take them. And so one of the things I do when we have CEOs that come from our customers, we do a planned tour. And one of the places I take them to is, I say, please come with me to the boss's office. And he's like, your boss? You're the CEO. How does that work? Come on, let me take you to my boss. This is the boss I go to for counseling, the one I go to for mentoring, and the one I go to for direction for this company. When they walk in, I don't care what faith they are, they go, wow. And I've had people agnostic, people from different faiths going there as CEOs, but they are visibly touched because of the faith that I have in God. And that's his department. I can't change their hearts, he does it. So as a result of all this, sorry, mine is 2 minutes, right? As a result of this, you may say, what happened? The pre-Peter, or the pre-Jesus Peter, we had turnover in our company. 22% of our employees every year said, you know what, we're going to vote with our feet, I'm going to get the heck out of here because this place sucks. You know what that number is today? 3%. So what people are saying is they want to be part of an environment of caring. It's not because we say we're Christ-centered, not because we say we're a godly organization. It's because we demonstrate every day what God's love looks like. Not because what do we say. You think that these people stay because what we say? No. It's what we do. And so we really need to, as Christians, first demonstrate God's love to them before we earn the right to declare Christ. Because that's how people really come to know Him, is at the moment when they see Christ in your actions. And so that's part of the story. Do you know that the savings that we have from our training costs and turnover is enough to pay for all those programs? God economics. He works amazing things. So let me show you the gravy that God gave us. There's a thing called discretionary effort. When an employee gets to work for a company, they bring between 65 and 70% of their effort to work. How do you get the other 30%? By giving them purpose, passion, and giving them an opportunity to be part of something greater than they are. So when we embed them in this culture of ours, look what happened to the revenue, we call it revenue per person, which is another word for productivity. It went from $185,000 per person to over $210,000 per person. You can't fake that, you can't fudge that. It's real. That's what people have brought to work, is their hearts and their souls. When they understand that working for this company is something part of greater than they are, and not to make Peter rich, but to create true value. Look what's happened to our company. We have grown leaps and bounds. So you can say, becoming a Christian company, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It creates eternal value, and it creates incredible investment in your people and processes. And William's about to throw something at me, so thank you for your time. I appreciate it. God bless.
Do you understand? I mean, it's almost impossible for him to tell you all that God's done in this life. And I'm telling you, there is nobody that does it better. Peter's awesome. He's a guy told me one time is you'll never be able to carry your groups further than God is taking you in your own personal life. That's not necessarily true. So I can teach you how to run a Christ-centered company. Peter can teach you how to run it right. And boy, he's good. And I want you to know more about these kind of things. That's why I want to bring good people, good leaders, and people who are running their companies for Christ. I want to bring them to the platform and teach you what they're doing. This information you got right here, this is 20, 30 years of experience. Look at it, study it. This thing is incredible, what he's doing in his care program. The things that he's giving you to look at. We've done these things, we've done them right, we've done them wrong. But it's changed our company. It's given us the ability to grow our companies and run for Christ. That's what the Christian Chamber is supposed to be about. Now let me tell you something, there's two things you gotta know. You're never gonna do it if you're not sold out. If you're afraid that you're gonna be embarrassed, or you're afraid that you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings, or you're afraid that your customers aren't gonna like you, not going to be able to do it. The second thing is, you got to realize that God has ordained you as a priest. And you've got to be about priest. That's the hardest part. We got to run our company as if we were priests. I didn't say preachers, but my God's telling me we're preaching. You got to be priests. You got to reason and figure out how to take your congregation to heaven. And that's what Peter does. He figures out, what can I do different in my company to make a difference? Not just in his employees, in his family, in his community, and everywhere he goes. Now let me tell you something. The Christian Chamber is going to be about these things. But we're also going to be about making a difference. I want you to be sold out for Christ, run your companies for Christ, so that we can make an impact, make a difference. And this year, 2016, here's some things we want to do. We want to get the pain capable bill passed in our Senate to save lives. We're going to tell you more about that. We've been fighting that bill for 2 years. The pain capable bill must be passed in our state. We want to defund Planned Parenthood. That's number 2. Number 3, and that's going to take some work. From you and from me. You got to understand. Here's what I tell everybody. You got to communicate. You got to educate, and you got to motivate. You got to know what these things are about. You got to know what the plan is. And you got to get people excited about getting it done. The Franklin Graham prayer launch is in February the 9th. We got to get there somehow. We got a little bit of conflict, but we're supposed to be having our next chamber meeting on February 9th. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I'll let you know. And the other thing is, Franklin Graham, pain capable. Oh, we got a very important thing going on. Most people don't understand it. They don't know about it. They don't even know why. But we got a judgeship, a major judgeship that's being, that's going to be passed. We're going to elect a judge in this state that's going to make huge decisions. In the past, nobody knows about that. None behind the scenes. We got to get involved, and we got to make sure that the person that's put in that position is a godly man. And we're going to be ready. Now that's just 3 or 4 things. We got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff we need to do to make this state better. We want to take this state back to promise. And good people like you and I have got to get up and do something. You got to be equipped. You got to be focused. And you got to be ready. Now here's the last thing. I'm closing with this. If you want to get ready, here's what you got to do. You got to get your ability to communicate in place. So when I shoot you an email, or you get an email from one of our leaders, you got to shoot it to your people. Guess what happens? If you shoot it to your people, they shoot it to their people. It's everywhere. It's all over the state. The problem is people don't know. That's my passion. Do you understand that the most important bill in this state is being legislated right now? You never heard of it. Didn't know anything about it. He cared. But because he didn't know, he didn't do anything about it. And that's what's wrong. We don't have the ability to communicate. You get prepared to communicate. You get your system in place so that when we shoot you an email, I can count on you shooting it out to 500 more. If you got